Definitely there for it. I'm gonna go over the top slightly with a big guard to smooth it out.
Okay.
You know?
I trust you. Do your thing, man.
Sure. Once again, you are now tuned into the underground. My name is Mbaya and I go by the Doctor. Today, what I have for you is a mid-high taper, and I'm going to be, of course, using my Apex, which is equipped with the new diamond cut fixed fade hair clipper blade with the shallow 2.0 moving cutter set. If you're not familiar with this thing, it's definitely one of the newest drops for March, coming from Stylecraft. Obviously, Stylecraft releases something new every month, and I know for a fact that this can be very difficult to keep up with. Not only is it taxing on the pocket, it is definitely not necessary to have everything. But here's what I'm here to tell you. Do you need multiple tools? Yes. You need different tools that do different things. As you can see, right now I am balding him out using my Protege trimmer from Stylecraft, which is equipped with the diamond cut blade set. Yes, they have a blade set for the trimmer as well as the clipper. And these are pretty much all compatible on all of the Gamma Plus tools, from the clippers to the trimmers, as well as the Stylecraft items. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into this haircut. As you can see, I just established a bald guideline, and I'm going to go in with my Gamma Plus tight guard number 2 and just remove some of that bulk, just soften it up a little bit, pretty much just creating a base which is going to help me work around his head and the tapered area. With that being said, on top, I cut his hair with the grain using a number 4 guard. The number 4 guard really didn't remove that much hair off the top, only to, of course, smooth out the hair, making sure all those little stray hairs that were out of place were removed out of the way so it doesn't look tacky or, you know, doesn't look off. You know what I'm saying? Now that we have all of that established, I am going ahead and creating my second guideline. As you can see, I just went in with the clipper lever all the way open, no guard. And now I'm going to close the clipper lever halfway and start to soften up that line that was created initially by the trimmer blade. So just soften that up a little bit. And I'm going to close the lever, not fully, but just adjust it right before it is completely closed, and start to soften up just a little bit more. Then right after I'm completed with this, I will close it completely. And that should, of course, remove that line fully. And if there's anything left over behind, I will come back in with my trimmer, which will establish everything. And I'm intentionally using only the diamond cut blades from both the trimmer, which is equipped on my Protege, and the diamond cut on my clipper, which is equipped on the Apex, of course. With that being said, we are definitely getting some good work, good cuts indeed. I zero gap my clipper blade, which I usually never do, but for this situation here, I wanted to kind of go ahead and experiment and see how this thing will work out. And what I appreciated about it is the fact that it's actually doing amazing, no welting, none of that. It's not close to the point where it's dangerous. But anyway, I'm going ahead and setting in my next guideline. I'm moving over to the 1.5, and I'm starting to go into the hair just a little bit and close the lever halfway when I establish that first guideline. Start to soften it up. Then I will close just a little bit and close completely. The same way that I went about it with the clipper lever with no guard, I will be keeping the same consistency, the same way all the way through this haircut with all the different guards, keeping it consistent without cheating myself. So advice to you who all are watching, do not cheat yourself, do not rush, make sure you're following through with the steps. And I'm going to, of course, move forward over to my one guard, which I will follow through with the same steps. I will go with the clipper lever all the way fully open. Then I will close halfway and start to work my way up with that lever to not all the way fully closed, but just slightly closed, and I'll close completely. And of course, this is a click system, so this makes it very easy for me to keep up with my steps. And if you have to use the other spaces that you haven't used on that click lever, do so, because you have to use them all. Just know that when you go higher into the hair, you pull that lever back. The less hair you have to cut, you close it, as far as the level is what I'm referring to. Now, one thing I must add is he does have a space in the nape area right below the occipital bone, which is a dip. It's like a spot that is very hard to blend, and this kind of throws off the whole taper. If you're really focusing and paying attention to it, you can see it. There's a space, which is pretty much like the lips on the back of his head, that look kind of wild on some people. There's some people that have this space that I'm talking about, this little spot, this little dip at the nape area, very deep. And in this situation, it's not as bad, so I'm gonna pretty much try to do my best and work with it. I will blend this out smoothly as possible, but I do know that next time when we do this taper, I'm not gonna go as high, and I'll keep it below that area, which it will probably look a lot better, but it will definitely be visible in this video. But it's not gonna look as bad as I'm making it seem. It's just something for you all to be aware of. And as you can see, I've moved on to my half guard. This point here, which I am doing, is just pretty much detailing and working those corners. One thing I will mention when it comes to the half guard, you can go about this the same way like I did with the other guards, but this is detail work. So you can choose to do the open lever all the way and close halfway, then close completely, or you can just go ahead and work your way through the taper by just slowly adjusting each part of the click if you have a click lever system. Otherwise, if you have a floating lever system, you can just go ahead and adjust lightly, little by little, until you get that blend that you're looking for. If you follow through with the routine that I'm explaining to you, either way you go, you will always be guaranteed a flawless victory, a flawless blend, a flawless blurry blend is what I'm talking about. So don't cheat yourself, y'all. Take your time, go through the steps, make sure everything is guaranteed a flawless victory. I mean that, y'all. This is like Mortal Kombat, y'all. You just gotta keep on working the mess out of that lever. Make sure you're going through with those blades. And of course, with this diamond cut, it was definitely on point. It worked out just fine. I just know that next time around, as you can see, all of these details that I need to catch, I won't show everything on camera, but I'm going to make sure that I work that out. And it's just because I didn't want to drag this video too long, and I've never done this taper on him before, so I needed a little bit of extra time. But as you can see, most of this video is all real time. I'm not trying to cheat y'all. I'm not trying to show y'all a false, haircut situation here. There's no enhancing, none of that. It's just, I wanted y'all to see this exactly for what it is. And as you can see, the dip is very visible with this shot right here. And I'm literally just working each guard and detailing each guard in there, making sure that that taper is set in properly, because I don't want him to be walking around, really is what I'm trying to say, like he has a bow. And I'm gonna make sure that this is flawless before he leaves. There's no way he should be walking around with this heavy weight line going on. But the simple fact that he has that dip right in the middle is throwing everything off to the point where I have to go a little bit higher and make sure that this is on point. But next time around, I'm not gonna go high. I'll just keep it right at the nape. I'm gonna keep it right below the ears. If you see where that point is with the ears, I'm gonna keep it right there. I'm not gonna move it anywhere higher than that or past that, because it can be ridiculous sometimes if you let your person or your client leave out with a bowl-shaped looking haircut. It's terrible looking. So we made sure that he was tight at the end of the day. I would never leave anybody you know, astray out here looking crazy. And I'm just gonna kind of detail more on this side, make sure everything's on point. And like I say, the other side, I'll get it off camera in a second, because I try to have this video be quick, short, and easy. I didn't want to show y'all the full process, because I just wanted to give y'all an idea. And you know how I do, I usually give y'all the full process. I don't like cheating y'all out of any details. But as you can see, I'm going ahead and establishing that ball guideline, which is established on the other side. And I won't really show y'all the other side process, but I will show y'all this side, which is pretty much going to be the same as the other side. And I will detail that back nape area on the right side of his head. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and set in that second guideline, just kind of taper out the top of the beard and start to go into the taper on the haircut itself. Just have to, of course, make sure that everything is symmetrical when setting in these guidelines. So as you can see, I'm going in with the clipper lever open all the way, then I will close it halfway as you just saw. Soften up that line, then close it just a little bit, then I will close completely. And that should pretty much remove the line and you have a blurry blend. And of course, you move in with the 1.5, remove some of that weight, clipper lever all the way open, obviously, and close it halfway. Start to soften up that line just a little bit. Then you move that lever little by little until you get to the close point, which will help you remove that line completely. It's as simple as that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And of course, this 1.5 is not going to remove the line all the way. That's why you move over to the half. Detail some of that out by just slightly going into that taper guideline, which is softening up the line just a little bit with the clipper lever all the way open, of course. Then you close it little by little, or you can close it halfway, but I'm going to go ahead and close it little by little. Just take my time, because I really want this to be as blurry as possible. You know what I'm saying? So take your time, y'all. The more patience you have, the better the haircut, the better the blend, the better quality you are going to produce for your clients. This is what keeps them coming back. Some people are always gonna jump chair, y'all. It's just part of the game. It is what it is. Well, guess what? They always come back. And what they're coming back for, it is what it is. But that's why I am not a big fan of customers. Customers tend to just go wherever they fit. Clients go where they belong, where they see it fit for them, where there's quality, they will spend their money. That's just how that goes. It's automatic. And some clients are clients of many barbers, you know, just to be real. But that's a long story, and I'm not going to get too deep about that. I'm just going to keep it at that and not say too much. But anyway, pretty much I sped through this cut right here with the blending of the taper, and that's established. And I'm now just showing you how I set in the line. But don't worry, I'm going to show you the other side, and just to kind of give you a chance of seeing the symmetry here with how this left side looks is exactly the same way that the opposite side is going to look. But I'm going to make sure that you see the process of how I achieved this lineup, because if you can see, this is definitely looking really, really flawless. It looks really, really good. I mean, I know some of you can critique me all day and say that that looks terrible. It looks this, it could use some more work, this and that. Hey, look, it is what it is, all right? This is established. My man was happy with it. He was definitely satisfied, and yeah, that's that. But I used, of course, this diamond cut blade set, which is equipped with my protege, to line them up with, and it did amazing. And I used, of course, the diamond cut blade on the clipper, on my Apex clipper, to, of course, blend this out. And look at how great that looks. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that dip in the back nape area, but it is what it is. And I'm going to demonstrate the lineup how I executed it on the opposite side, on the right side of his head. So just kind of cutting into that overhang. I know some of you will probably give me all the shade, all the hate on this comment section, talking about you pushing him back, you're doing this, you're doing that. Hey, look, man does not like this overhang, just letting y'all know what it is, all right? And I keep this overhang there intentionally to manipulate this line. If you haven't watched the video of me lining them up with this ball fade and how we intentionally keep the overhang, cut the hair a certain way to manipulate it, to leave this effect that is going to, of course, look 3D. Even at the tapered area over there at the temple on his vertical bar, there is overhang intentionally left there. I cut this a certain way just to make sure that the line is going to look sharp as possible when I set this lineup in. And look at that. Boom. Amazing. Looks like I threw fibers, threw airbrush on him, some kind of color, you know what I'm saying? But no, this is all natural clipper and trimmer work. No blade, no razor. And of course, we're gonna apply that later, but I just wanted to show y'all that this diamond cut blade, what they did with this, whoever manufactured this, whoever is behind this, whoever's involved did their thing. There's no welting coming out of this thing. It will welt some people's skin, but for the most part, this thing is really soft on the skin, which is amazing, because as long as you use that guide blade, that fixed guide blade, to guide that cutter blade onto the hair and skin properly, you're good. You're good money. And of course, as always, tuck that ear down. Start off at the top front part of the ear and work your way around the ear, down the neck, all the way down to the nape, keeping everything symmetrical. Just make sure you always tuck that ear down. No hanging on the ear. If you're hanging on the ear, you need to cut that out. If you're still hanging on the ear, I get it. It's all good. If you're a veteran, you've been seasoned, doing this forever, hanging off the ear, cool. But I recommend that you tuck the ear down and then you go ahead and establish that lineup. Simple as that, y'all. But as you can see, I did blend out this right side of his hair on the nape area. It looks good. I'm sure y'all can see that, but there's still that dip at the middle part on the back of his nape. And it is what it is. There's nothing much I can do about that. Just like I say, the only option is to keep that taper low. This doesn't show visibility or doesn't look bad with the bald fade, because obviously it's just bald and he has a slight little spot in the back of his neck. But next time around, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna go high, because just to spare him the headache and myself, because this was a little bit of some extra work just to get that blended the way it is. But that dip, as you can see, is almost something that you can never get away from. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse through this beard. I didn't see it fit that I needed to show y'all that, because I want to save the beard details for later. I know y'all are probably always wondering why I speed through that, but you know, it's a whole different anatomy with the facial hair that I would like to get into later. And just for those of y'all who are wondering, my journey is to show y'all everything that I do from a beginner's perspective, and I will move forward into the professional, seasoned approach. With that being said, thanks for watching, y'all. I will catch y'all on the next one.